keep you away. By doing that, probably there are some pictures. So I have disclaimer. I got it from the website, so I'm not promoting anything. I edited a little because I was informed that there might be adolescents who will be coming, although they have their own session. But to be sure, PG-13. Okay, so, but I would like to emphasize points that talk about family dynamics that you need to understand. I come from a medical perspective, so that's why I would like this opportunity to inform everyone that family relationships have an effect on your health or your well-being. And we have a lot of studies about that. Divorced and unhappily married men and women have poorer immune function than those in healthier marriages. So there are issues affecting seafarers. And I got a book, no, it's not a book, it's a thesis, I think, of a researcher, the CERC. It's located in the UK. They made a study on how seafarers would promote healthy family life. So they made that, and they have placed a very essential points in their discussion. And before going to the result, I would like to present to you a life cycle which one family will go probably way or probably would follow in terms of married, to having young children, to have a young adolescent, to let their be launched and get married, and then at the end be together as couple again. So we call family life cycle. Now I just selected 3 life cycles which I think are essential to you. So the first one is the newly married couple. So when you say newly married, this is where you establish your intimacy, your relationship, your system. How would you comfort? How would you want to eat your lunch or dinner? Do you have in the house? So it's creating a new system. We call it system, family system, because you have this house and rules and traditions, or values. Okay, and then you would further go when the first we call that family with young children. That's when fathers probably going to the sea to provide security, financial to the family, okay, or even provide a home to the family. Parenting would also come in when the first child would be born. And then as they grow older, that's when family with adolescents, where we will be at how we would discipline these adolescents, and eventually how would we talk about this. So I'm glad that our first speaker already talked about curriculum on parenting, because it's really a challenge even in our, in our family program in Siemens Hospital. We also have, we help members of the family in terms of coping, looking at the different stages or roles that the family should be able to do. Because if one family would be one, stop meaning to say there are a lot of issues not being addressed, they would be, for example, in one phase and do not move to another phase, then that would put a lot of relationship. Okay, and there's a pain in every transition. If you look at this, the first 3 statements, the capacity of being to love is felt as joy. The capacity of human being to understand is felt as security. And the human capacity for choice is felt as control. And if you have problems in terms of transition, you would be experiencing sin. So interrupted love is felt as grief. loss of understanding as anxiety. Denial of choice is felt as anger. So it's an opposite, normal transition or phases of going from one side. So the love, or probably the feeling of closeness, started the relationship from courtship to marriage, and then when you get solution because your partner is like this, or your partner do not understanding or even express love, so the opposite would come in. There will be a lot of anger, there would be a lot of anxiety, and then you would come to us because so that's we need to address that, because now we're coming to the clinic because of diabetes, because of hypertension, because of heart attack. And we know that if people would get sick, our society will not live. So that's why we have to understand the other aspect of this. Okay, so family issues of seafarers. Number one, which is I think is the role displacement, probably that you feel. Meaning to say, because you left the home, the wife or the partner would be in charge of everything else. Consoling a counselor to your kids, probably the plumbing problems in your house, or the roof, or leaking faucets and everything. So because of this, the wife would be and so that when a seafarer partner would come, there would be already no need for the presence of the seafarer, especially male. If, for example, the faucet will be leaking anyway, so the husband will be useless. So there's a which is not a conscious effort from the part of a wife. It's just they need to adjust to the change in the system. So this is especially that you have probably kids or so how would be the rules in your absence, so that when you go back to your houses, to your home, your wife is very independent. And absentee parenting, which has been in the midst of Philippine society because of phenomenon. So there are a lot of families right now that we call left at home as a single parent. That's only because of temporary. Okay, so absentee parenting may be good, or parenting skill of the parent who's left at home. So I'm also to stress about parenting because the first speaker was able to give a lot of information and education about this. Okay, so one would be, as it has been, relationship healthy is communication. It has been told, but how do we communicate? Actually, it takes a lot of. So communication is sharing ideas, sharing, and as I've mentioned, you need to develop or an attitude. So I'll just present to you a good communicator. One is genuineness. Genuineness is acknowledging your heart would not listen to another person if you are and do not acknowledge that you have goodness. So realizing that you have goodness, sometimes you need to show it to the other person. Okay. other. So this is most often the problem. We have our own perspective, we have our own opinion. And this opinion would come in the way when we talk to other person. We say, for example, my perspective about sex, for example, that sex should be done after marriage. And then unconditional